Peace, peace, peace. It's imaraifawuyi here, coming to you live from the beautiful country of Costa Rica. And I wanted to talk a little bit today and just muse a little bit over my favorite location in the world, Brazil. Um, we wanted to talk a little bit about steps to becoming a global citizen or stepping out and living in a place like Brazil or wherever you like globally. Peace, peace, peace. Yes. I wanted to talk a little bit about that global expat, global nomad, digital nomad lifestyle today, and particularly as in regards to Brazil. I am a veteran expat and globe trekking woman. I do so with children, so I do a lot of traveling international with my kids. Right now we are in Costa Rica. We live on a cacao chocolate fruit farm in Costa Rica. And we've been here for about a half a year now. Before that we were living in Brazil. Was not my first time living in Brazil. Brazil is my favorite country, and I like to talk about it because basically a lot of people feel a little bit like intimidated by Brazil because it is such a unique culture. They do speak Portuguese there, so it isn't Spanish like the rest of Latin America. And it's just a place that it gives off, a lot of people, they hear that it's super dangerous and violent. They hear so many different mixed messagings about Brazil, but ultimately, Brazil is not for the faint of heart. It is not an easy place to go and live, like we were living prior to coming out here to Costa Rica. But it is a wonderful place to go and absorb yourself in the culture, in the energy. Go and be with the locals and just experience everything it has to offer. A lot of people have been asking me, and I do have a trip planned. So I am working on right now promoting a trip, a group trip to Bahia, Brazil. Bahia, which is in the northern part of the country, is where there's a huge population of, they say that their ancestors came from Africa via the slave trade. I don't argue with other people. I know my ancestry as a North American brown-skinned person, but they say that their ancestry is through the slave trade. There's also remnants and elements in history of there being dark brown people that look like me that are indigenous to that land as well. So it's a mixed bag, the story, but basically it's a very, very brown place. So it's a lot of brown people there, and mixed people that they call pardo. And it's just a place that's rich with history. The cuisine is unbelievable. The culture is just fantastic. You get the capoeira, you get the Afro-Brazilian dance, you get the indigenous culture, you get the music, the samba, the group celebrations in mass and in the public, like the carnival, and all of just this richness that is just hard to come by. You just don't find it everywhere. So yeah, I'm super passionate about Brazil. When we go out in fall this year, I want to take people who are interested in not only just going to revel, because it is a place where you can party hardy and do your thing. So I want people who also have a consciousness and a mind to learn a little bit about, kind of the history of the people, particularly those that are living in what we call quilombos. The quilombos are basically maroon encampments. They're places where people who were living under subjugation, slavery, indentured servitude, whatever it was. And it wasn't just dark brown people. It was, all kinds of folks will go to these encampments in various parts of Bahia and all through. These quilombos are all over Brazil, but especially when you're talking about above Rio de Janeiro, the state. And so they will go to these places. A lot of times they would be along riverbeds, places where they could fish, also, places where they could plant well. It might be hidden back in a cut, might be on a mountainside. Just anywhere they could go that was cut, that they could kind of hide out, right? And be left the hell alone, because at the end of the day, nobody wanted to deal with Europeans and all of the bullshit that they were on, And so, and they had all kinds of different European groups marauding that area. And so we want to go there. I have a lot of friends and contacts in the Quilombo societies, that are deep in that movement, promoting education, and coming together with people from all over the world to fight for their land rights, because they're going through a major struggle with maintaining the land that the government once allotted them to live on. And so they're in a major struggle. They're having cops come and raid them and shoot them up, just like they do in the favela, just like they do in the favelas. So, which are the kind of shanty communities that are built on top of horrendous locations all over Brazil. So anyway, we're going to spend some time in the Quilombos, get to know the area, get to experience some of the culture. I lived in Itacaré. I have lived in Salvador, so I did live in Salvador at one time, which is like the hub, the cultural hub. It's the big city, 3 million people in Bahia. But this last time we were there for over a year, we lived in Itacaré, and they had a lot of these quilombos and quilombolas around. They also had a lot just culture, dance, music, vibes, Orisha stuff, fast food, unbelievable food. And so I want to take people to explore the area. Beautiful beaches, the prettiest places where you could just see the ocean and the river come together in one place. There's waterfalls everywhere, just literally like paradise, Beautiful cuisine, fresh food everywhere. So yeah, so we want to I think we're going to do about 9 days. We'll start in Itacaré and then kind of move forward to Salvador to experience some of, what Salvador has to offer, which is a lot. It's also a lot to take in a short trip, but it's so fun. I mean, Salvador is amazing. And then with the Salvador journey, if people want to, if they're interested in doing any scouting for properties, if they're interested in maybe buying a condo or anything like that at that time, I can hook in with my real estate friends in Salvador, where we can go on a tour to see, what properties are available, to learn a little bit about the benefits of purchasing real estate in the north of Brazil, because it is a really hot market. It's a great place for a buy and hold that you can, fix up to be your temporary residence when you're in Brazil, and then, Airbnb it when you're not. And I have friends who are able to, maintain Airbnbs for people as well, when they have spaces in the north of Brazil. So yeah, that is what the plan is. So yeah, I wanted to just talk about it a little bit, because it's a place that I feel like is up and coming in terms of international tourism. When you're in Brazil, you don't run into a ton of foreigners, and if you do, they're mostly from Europe or maybe other parts of South America. You definitely don't run into a lot of Americans there. It's a challenging place to come to without language skills. If you don't speak Portuguese, you can manage, you know what I mean? You manage with a lot more challenge. They're not into you speaking Spanish to them, and even if they can understand you, a lot of times won't even deal with you. Brazilians are not easy people either, so it's something that you need to try to have language skills on deck as best as you can before going to Brazil. Now, coming with me, it's okay because I have, I speak Portuguese, and then I have all the people that we'd be linking up with are bilingual. So, if you come on a guided tour, that's one thing. You'll have support in regards to language. But if it's just you and you want to go hang out in Brazil, you can do it for a few days. But I'm just saying, it's somewhere where speaking Portuguese is really important. But yeah, it's up and coming. I think more tourists are going to start coming out there to explore it. I'm seeing more and more people go to Brazil. I've been going to Brazil for 20-something years, so it wasn't always like the most biggest. It was always kind of like a cult following type of thing. Like certain people wanted to go there because they wanted to practice capoeira, or they wanted to practice jiu-jitsu, or it was usually people who were doing certain specific sports or something that will go and stay in Brazil. I went and I was dancing at that time, doing a lot of Afro-Brazilian dance when I first started going. And so a lot of times it would be people who are doing body-oriented stuff that will go stay. But now I'm seeing there's a lot more just tourism for tourism's sake. And I'm on a live. I'll be right there, okay? And for tourism's sake, and just to explore and to see it. It's just a super exotic place, So yeah. If you guys are interested at all, if you do want to go out, I think I'm going to top it off at 12. This should be for around September, October this year. Top it off at 12. and we're going up to Bahia. We're gonna go to Itacaré. We're gonna go to Salvador. I'm also a huge lover. I love Rio and all that too. I'm not like Rio's not my favorite place. It's okay. It's nice. It's a nice state, and the city is exciting, but it also can be kind of too edgy. But I love Sao Paulo. I love Sao Paulo. So also we may even be for the next maybe early 2024 taking some groups out to Sao Paulo to explore the arts district. And the global cuisine is such an amazing culinary hub, and just a beautiful city. Like, it's a wonderful city once you give it a chance, and try not to get overwhelmed by the urban sprawl and the intensity and the immensity of it, because it is what, 14, 15 million people. Amazing city. Love it, love it, love it. Love Brazil. Like, it hurts me to my core to not be there right now. But I just have other things going on, and I had to come to Costa Rica. I'm not going to be here much longer. I'm going back to my island. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, thank you for sticking on with me. I am definitely, you can reach me at Imara, my first name, Imara, and then Ifawuyi, IFAWUYI, at gmail.com. If you're interested in the journey that I spoke on, the tour, the Bahia Roots Tour 2023,